Hey guys, it's Rachel and it is Thankful Thursday. I've got a hat on because I've just got to my brother's flat and my hair is like hat hair, so I kept it on. And I stole his hat because I had a different hat on. Yeah, it's Thursday. This video is probably going up a bit late for some people. Like I say, I've just got here, so I just wanted to get this uploaded for you. This week we're actually looking at another topic that Molly had suggested. She said she'd had a couple of messages to her. I'm not sure whether they were through Freedom Fighters or just her personal channel. And basically a number of people have asked about weight gain. I guess from that perspective that that there may be people out there who have their concerns about weight gain, but I am very aware that there are also people who suffer severely with eating disorders and either maintain a healthy weight or a weight that's not quite healthy, because we're all very well, is healthy but is lower for some, higher for some. A lot of people struggle with anorexia or what have you without being particularly low in weight. The extremes of weight can vary significantly from underweight to overweight. Some people who are perhaps in the obese category and not particularly healthy and struggle with an eating disorder may have to lose weight in order for them to become healthy and for them to recover. Other people need to gain weight, other people maintain their weight, other people gain weight and then it comes back off. You know, there's a real variance in it, and I've certainly been a lot heavier than I am now. And with stress and anxiety of last year, my weight isn't where it used to be, and it's kind of like an ongoing process of making sure I eat healthily and actually eating more and having my ensures at the moment in order to at least maintain my weight and hopefully gain some weight back as some of my mental health problems going back into remission, I guess. And so the whole thing around weight gain is obviously something that I'm quite versed in, because I did suffer from anorexia and a significant amount of weight loss occurred during my illness. So that is really my area. I'm wondering if other members can, I know the topic's supposed to be concerning weight gain, but whether other people can kind of be a bit flexible around that, as there might be some people who want to discuss you know different sides of weight opposed to just weight gain. But I'm going to go with the weight gain topic because that's something that I've experienced. Dealing with weight gain, I mean, you know, the only thing you can do is deal with it, and I'm lacking in I don't particularly think there are any words or anything people can say that makes it any easier. I think that having somebody you look up to who is recovered and maintains a healthy body weight is extremely helpful, because it kind of abolishes that idea that if I gain weight and go into recovery from my eating disorder, I'm going to become morbidly obese, which is or fat, you know. That is a real fear for a lot of people, and not just a fear that should just be knocked on the head and you to be told, oh, don't be so stupid. It is a real fear when you go into recovery and you begin to gain weight, because there is this absolute terrifying noise in your head that is telling you that it's never going to stop. So if you gain a pound, it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and your head at that point is still quite irrational regardless of what your weight is. And usually the less you weigh, the more irrational your head is, because, you know, everybody kind of knows those connections between being starved and very underweight and malnourished and maintaining a very low body weight and body mass index, and how irrational one's mind is at those points. And that isn't to say that a person is very rational when their weight is within the healthy category, because it's all relative to your disorder. But for me personally, when I was very underweight, I was, you know, my mind was consumed by my anorexia. And as I slowly began to gain weight, as terrifying as that was, I became a lot more rational. My body image improved. And those things didn't happen overnight. But it's like, you know, and this is what I say to a lot of people, right? You can weigh X amount, okay, be incredibly underweight or underweight, and struggling with your eating disorder and trying to eat and perhaps gain weight and what have you. and hate yourself. But what I kind of say is that you hate yourself anyway. You know, whether you weigh, it doesn't matter what you weigh, whether you weigh 4 stone, 5 stone, 6 stone, 7 stone, 8 stone, 9 stone, 10 stone, 11, onwards and onwards. When you're within an eating disorder, you hate yourself. You know, you hate your body. You think you're fat. You think you're ugly. You think you're repulsive. You think that food is a bad thing. You don't think you deserve food. You look in the mirror and you hate what you see. You have this desire to change your body, to shift your body. You don't want the attention. You just want to make that feeling of hatred towards your body go away, and so you starve it away or purge it away or overeat in just these attempts at trying to just get rid of that voice. And so if that voice is already there, even if it's there during your recovery, which it will be, at least you're moving in a different direction. At least if you're moving in the direction of putting food in your mouth, eating regularly, eating a healthy amount, and whatever your body does is whatever your body does. And I'm quite, a big part of me is of the belief that weight shouldn't only be about it. But of course, if you're at an extremely low weight or an extremely high weight, there needs to be something done about that. But I think that if you're kind of hovering around a kind of, you might not be out of the anorexic BMI, your weight might be quite low, but it isn't so significantly low that it perhaps is putting you at much danger. That isn't to say that you can't, I'm struggling to articulate this, but basically, you know, if you're on death's door with your weight, you need to gain weight, right? Okay, but what people can do is gain some weight. And for me then, what's more important and what my advice is that the focus needs to be on eating healthily, eating balanced meals, eating regularly, having your 4 meals a day, 3 snacks or what have you. If you still are in a process of your body needing re-nourishing, regardless of your weight, including something like an Ensure, Fortisip or whatever the equivalent is, and using that as perhaps a way of just giving your body something extra. If you are doing that, I'm somebody who, fortunately or unfortunately, I've got the metabolism that my father has, that my brother has, and I do find it difficult to gain weight when my body is stressed and anxious. The first thing that kind of goes is that I do tend to lose weight. My appetite goes. And I start to struggle with all of those things. And what I have been doing for a long time now, probably since February, when all this stress kind of started to take a toll, is I do try to, you know, not all the time, I do eat a lot of crap at times, but is to try to have very balanced meal, try to have foods that are very nourishing and give me vitamins, you know, proteins, carbs and all of that. And I also do have an Ensure, or sometimes some days I have 2, because that kind of gives me a lot of good nutrients, and it's also just a way to boost my intake in an attempt to keep my body healthy. And certainly over the past few months since what happened in the summer, is that although I've not gained weight particularly, I do feel a lot stronger. I've got a lot more energy, and physically I'm feeling a lot better. And that's been, you know, that makes me feel a lot better. I'm looking a lot better, and all of that kind of is kind of in support of that idea that, you know, when you're battling mental health problems, your body needs to be strong. And if you're not giving your body nutrients, how the hell are you supposed to fight stuff like depression or mood disorders or personality disorders or whatever your disorder is, if you're not nourishing your body? And that's what this is all about. Recovery will include weight gain for a number of people, or weight loss for some people, or weight maintenance, or having a goal weight and maintaining that for a period of time. But more essentially is what you're giving your body. I do believe that if you even if you're eating a healthy amount, that if you remain at a weight that is underweight, that it's going to be very easy to fall back into eating disorder behaviours, because as long as your weight is low, I'm talking a BMI under 19 probably, you're making yourself vulnerable. And what happened for me when I recovered is it did take a long time for me to gain weight, a good number of years, and for that weight to kind of you know, gain it, and then if I got a bit stressed, for it to stay the same. And I'm just incredibly grateful that my body was able to recover to the point that it did in 2009, because what I've been through this year, my body has taken a real battering. You know, if it wasn't, you know, it's been beaten black and blue, and you know, I don't mean that literally, but it's been hammered and hammered and hammered because of the mental health difficulties that I've endured and the difficulties I've had in some of my relationships. That if I hadn't achieved that degree of recovery, I'd be in the shit basically right now. And so I am grateful that I had that, and that although my weight isn't where it used to be, I'm still within the healthy category, and you know, by nurturing my body and giving my body the rest, etc., that it needs, it is slowly pulling itself back. And so, you know, there isn't any easy answer to helping you deal with weight gain. As you gain weight and your weight becomes healthier and you're not using behaviours, the issues that caused you to develop your eating disorder will come out. So although I will say that a lot of the work you do with regards to food, putting that food in your mouth and gaining the weight, you know, those first few steps you have to do yourself, and that's something I did when I first started to, you know, recover properly, is that I wasn't particularly in therapy, but I did write, I did draw, and what it's about in those early days is trying to up your intake, is using the resources you have around you, family, friends, whatever it is, and having a list of kind of distractions. So you have your breakfast and then maybe you'll go out and meet somebody for a coffee, and so you're not kind of sat like dum thinking about it all the time. And I know that's something they do in eating disorder units, they make you sit still for a period of time. But I think it's important that eating just becomes part of your daily routine. It doesn't become the be all and end all, and that will happen initially in your recovery, and you'll be thinking, well, hang on, I'm trying to get away from a life obsessed with food, and I'm obsessing over my food because I have to make sure I eat right. And that will be like that for a period of time. But believe me, as you begin to gain weight, and as painful and as difficult as that is, as you gain the weight and you get closer to a healthier weight, I don't mean getting to a healthy weight through binging and using other eating disorder behaviours. I mean getting to a healthy weight by eating healthily, nurturing your body, eating more than a healthy amount for a period of time because you need to get your weight up, that it does get easier. And I'll tell you something now, you know, I never thought I'd see the day where I could be a healthy weight and love myself. And, you know, without sounding conceited, you know, I do love myself, and I do believe I deserve to be cared for, and I do believe that my body is something special and that needs nurturing. I appreciate it for what it does, because it, you know, it gets me from A to B. It helps me move, it helps me engage. I experience pleasures and joys through my body as well. I listen to my body and what its needs are. And although I'm somebody who's more on the manic side than depressive side, I am learning to give myself time each day. I do that through my writing for about sort of half an hour to an hour every evening. I use something called my wisdom cards, and it's about taking the focus away from seeing your body as this object, and seeing it as yours, and you know, without your body, how are you going to function? And although it might be painful and difficult to gain weight, it does get easier. And whilst you're in an eating disorder, it's never going to get easier. It's never ever going to get better. Whereas in recovery, as painful as that is, there's the possibility and the hope of it getting better, and it will. If you hang in there, it will get better. I'm going to go, guys, because I've rambled on for ages. I hope that's been of some help, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Okay, take care.